Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism, narcissistic relationships, healing from narcissistic relationships, and just making sense of something that doesn't seem to make much. Here's a question I get a lot, so let's take it on. Does the narcissistic person want to destroy me? Have you ever wondered that? You know what my answer to that is? Probably not. Someone close to me was recently trying to navigate a narcissistic relationship. And as part of this process, this person was watching other people's content about narcissism, the many, many Instagram posts and all that. The one theme she reported back to me was that lots of people were sharing what they believed to be true about the narcissistic person. They truly believed that the narcissistic person was hell-bent on destroying you. And that was their sole motivation. That they got up in the morning, they just wanted to destroy you. And my answer to that is probably not, really not, and it's not even that ever likely. They aren't noticing you enough to want to destroy you. You may feel destroyed by them, but that's not necessarily their end game. The nature of narcissism is that they are not attuned to anyone except themselves unless they need something from that other person for themselves. So they need something from you, they'll be attuned to you, but then they don't need you anymore, they're not. They may really, really notice you when they need something from you like money, status, sex, validation, whatever it is they need. They notice you, but they really aren't noticing you. They're noticing you as it functions for them, right? That's all they notice. Because of this, bottom line, they really don't care about you. They just want what they want. So it's not like they're sitting in a room, rubbing their hands together like Dr. Evil and launching a plot on how they want to destroy you and bring you down. They don't care enough to do that. They're not noticing you enough to do that. Now, if they believe you no longer have something that they need or want, for example, if they went out and found new supply, then they may just walk away or detach or ignore you or be completely disinterested in you. You will then become an annoyance. You may sometimes be useful to them. For example, you keep the house clean, you keep the bills paid, you do things that they need done, but they don't always need those things done. So they may keep you around and turn to you for those things, and otherwise they just don't care. And that feels terrible if it's happening to you. You may feel abandoned, neglected, invalidated, not even seen as a person, and that is your experience. However, it's not a part of a fiendish plot for them. They don't even stop to think that their neglectful behavior affects you. That's that lack of empathy. That's what that looks like. They don't notice you. They aren't thinking about you. While this is all happening to you, it can feel intentional, like they're really trying to break you. In most cases, they're not. They just neglect and they don't care. They may manipulate to get what they want, but their singular motivation is what they want. That's it. Narcissistic people are actually kind of simple in that way, more simple than us. It's not okay, and it's very selfish, and it hurts, but it's not being targeted to hurt you. They're just doing what works for them. You are being hurt, and in essence, you're collateral damage of their selfishness and of their lack of empathy. But like I said, it's not a concerted attack. Some of you are saying, oh, hell no, Dr. Ramani, it's much more messed up than that. They hurt me, then they rescue me, then they put me back together. I think they care, and then they hurt me again. Now, this cycle of destroying you to put you back together again, that's something we may witness in a more malignant or even psychopathic cycle of creating a bond through destroying you and rescuing you and destroying you and rescuing you. It's a very pathologic trauma bond. Over time, they are associated with being the rescuer and psychologically imprison you by keeping you caught in this cycle. This has a more of a coercive, controlling feel to it, and it's typically something we witness in more severely narcissistically abusive relationships. So it's not the norm. But there is one situation when, in fact, yes, they are trying to destroy you. And that is when they're vindictive. Now hell hath no fury like a narcissist scorned. They become victims, and the sensitivity and the shame that come up are a call to arms for them. And they will make you pay for leaving them feeling vulnerable, for injuring their ego. What does that look like? Take your pick. Abusive, protracted divorces that cost tons of money, and you are dragged mercilessly through the courts by them and their sadistic attorneys, or cruel custody battles where they have no problem weaponizing their children even as they are doing tremendous harm to them, or destroying your reputation in the workplace, or telling entire family systems lies about you, or stalking you, or harassing you, or posting falsehoods on social media designed to hurt you. And if you are caught with them in a vindictive scenario, yes, they are trying to destroy you. It's for this reason that many people are afraid to end a narcissistic relationship, go no contact, or even try to fight them. For example, fight them legally or speak out against them. For many folks, the vindictiveness was sometimes worse than the narcissistic relationship itself when they were in it. So yes, there is a subset of times, but that's it. Otherwise, they are not focused on destroying you. As a rule, narcissistic people aren't sadistic. That tends to be something we see more in the dark tetrad kind of style, and it's more psychopathy adjacent. Narcissistic people are unempathic, entitled, selfish, and just don't care about anyone other than themselves. They are not out to destroy you without provocation. It's almost like an animal, right? They're not going to attack unless you're poking them a little. What they do to you does feel destructive and painful and even calculated, but it's their lack of care that causes the pain. It can be unfathomable to believe that you love or care for someone who is able to be so dismissive of you. But let's get it clear. Unless it is a vindictiveness situation, they aren't out to ruin you. They just sort of view you as a dysfunctional way station, a sort of rest stop on the road where they can get their needs met and move on until they need you again, with little care for how it's hurting you. None of this feels good. But let's not give them credit for being evil geniuses. They just don't bother to recognize the harm their behavior does, and they use people as objects. That's it. It hurts us, and it's complicated if you're on the receiving end, but it isn't any more deep for them. Thanks again.